What's going on, guys? I'm getting everything set up here on the back end. I'm going to start in just a couple of minutes. Just give me just a couple of minutes here. And I will get started. One second. We're just going to give it a few just to let some people kind of join in. And we're going to go ahead and cover some things because there's a couple of things that I see that stand out to me a lot. Hey, what's going on? There's a couple of things that I see standing out to me a lot when it comes to futures traders, especially traders who are trading prop firms, right? A couple of psychological things, couple of things that have to do with risk management from that standpoint. So let me just give it about 30 seconds to a minute, and then I'll kind of cover what I'm building out here, and then maybe it'll give you, kind of just raise some food for thought when it comes to taking these red days, taking these losses, learning how to battle back, learning how to kind of set these things up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover a couple of topics. I'm going to cover a couple of things off the top of my head, and then I will open it up for questions in case anyone has any questions. So I'm going to first get into this by saying that first and foremost, I think you guys are all familiar with, you guys are not going to win every trade, right? We're not that stupid, right? And for the lack of a better term, it's really the only word that comes to my head, right? So a lot of times I'll see traders, they follow their strategy, everything aligns perfectly, they get into the trade, doesn't work out. So what they start to do is they start to ask themselves a bunch of questions as to, why didn't this work? What could I have done better? What, maybe what can I do to not take such a big loss? Blah, 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 right? And truth be told, a lot of the times, if you are following some type of setup, some type of strategy, some type of system, and you're trying to follow rules, sometimes the trade's just not going to work out. Okay, there's nothing more that you can do. There's nothing more that you could have changed. It's the way in the nature of the market, especially if you're trading futures, especially if you guys are trading prop firms. You guys have a limited amount of drawdown, especially if you guys are trading the NASDAQ and you guys are trading off the open, right? You've got a lot of things working against you. And when you don't have a lot of market experience, when you don't have a lot of chart time, when you don't have a lot of days under your belt where you've seen different market conditions. Look, I've been trading for 12 years, and some of the things I've seen even since COVID, even since the pandemic times of trading in 2020, things have changed dramatically. The ranges on the NASDAQ 100 are like triple, right? You would get a 100-point, 150-point move prior COVID, and it would be like people are jumping out of the 20th story building, right? We've seen days where the market's moving 3, 4, 500 points and it's not even batting an eye, right? So for those of you guys who are coming into the markets and you're fairly new and you haven't been around, right, that long, well, you gotta have to kind of adjust, right? Like you're gonna have to take it on the chin a little bit. You're gonna have to do a few things. So what I really want to talk about in this video is preventing max loss and tilt days, right? First things first that we need to understand is that you're going to lose trades. Let's just get that out of the way. You're going to lose trades. Next thing, you're going to have red days. If you're a type of trader right now who is not going to be content, and I'm going to be in this live stream, in this workshop, I'm going to be completely brutally honest, because we are such in an entitlement time, right? The culture is everyone is so entitled, meaning a lot of softness, a lot of, oh, why me? A lot of pity this, pity that. If you are not understanding that you're going to need to log in red days in order to see payouts, in order to see your accounts grow, you're in the wrong business. You might as well just go do something else, because I'm going to be completely honest. With the amount of hours that most of us are spending on the charts, with the amount of hours that most of us are learning strategies, and we're back testing and we're forward testing and we're putting up live money to trade personal accounts, we're buying prop firm evaluations, all this stuff that we're doing, you know, you're wasting a lot of hard-earned time. You're also wasting a lot of hard-earned capital as well. So give me 1 second here. I got to respond to this message, and I'm going to keep this rolling. Okay. So again, let's just cover that. You guys are not going to finish every day green. You guys are not going to win every single one of your trades. First things first, you have to think about the strategy that you're using. So a lot of times you're using a strategy that may operate at a very high win rate. So for example, the strategy that I use, I'm looking for very small take profits in consideration to what the NASDAQ moves on in average ATR, right? If you're not familiar with ATR, it's just average true range. I typically trade the 5-minute time frame. Average true range on a 5-minute time frame can be anywhere between 25 points and 55 points. So for me, sometimes to take trades where I'm taking 5 points, 10 points, today I even was taking 3 points, it's going to win a lot more than it's going to lose. Here's the downside. A lot of times I got to give up more than a 1-to-1 to be even allowed to let the trade wiggle, right? So I'll give you an example. If I'm trading and looking for a 3-point take profit, very quick scalp, I've got probably a 10 to 12 point stop. If I'm looking for 5 points take profit, my stop loss is anywhere between maybe 12, 15 points, 16 points, 17 points, somewhere around that region. If I'm looking for 10 points, I'm probably giving up around 20 points. And I don't really like to give up any more than 20 or 25 points ever on any trade, regardless of what I'm looking for in terms of stop loss. The more stop loss that I'm giving myself, generally speaking, the more points that I'm looking for. If I'm giving up over 25 points, which there has been instances where I might put a 40-point stop loss on a couple of micros, okay? So we need to understand the difference in size, right? Position size. I'm not going to trade, 1, 2, 3 mini contracts and give up 40 points. It's ridiculous, right? But if I'm trading 2 or 3 micros and I'm giving up 40 points, well then yeah, maybe it's $80 a micro, it might be $150, $200 a loss, but I'm going to stretch my price target out to around 15, 20 points. So it's closer to a 1-to-1, right? So if I lose on one particular trade, it's okay, because the next trade I'm probably going to get it back if it's a winning trade, right? Now, depending on how you're trading, what I'm running into a lot of times that I'm seeing a lot of traders that, they're getting very scared and hesitant. They're kind of locking out profits too quickly. Like, let's say, for example, you open up with a 15 or 20 point stop loss, okay? But you're looking for 5 points. Now, I'll raise my hand. I'm the first one to say it. Sometimes I'll open up a bracket where I've got a 20-point stop loss and a 5-point take profit, but I have no intentions of it actually hitting 20 points. What does that mean? Does that mean that I can control price and not, and hold the price up so it doesn't stop me out at 20 points? No. But generally speaking, either I can use a previous 1-minute candle low, either I can use some type of moving average or a previous area of supply or demand to kind of tighten up that risk. 20 points is just what I'm using in terms of, hey, if World War III happens and I can't control this candle at all, I'm going to get fully stopped out for 20 points. And you're going to have to accept those trades as well, because those trades are going to happen. So let's get into kind of what some of these things that I've written down on the screen. So preventing max loss and going on tilt, right? The first question is, are we understanding losses cannot be prevented? Like, first and foremost, do you understand that? Okay, because we're going to go into the psychology behind trading as well, right? Everyone's going to have to take a close look in the mirror. You're going to have to ask yourself the tough questions. But do you truly understand that losses cannot be prevented? Like, if we can just get a 1 in the live chat right now, if you truly understand that you cannot prevent loss. I don't care what strategy, I don't care what wizard you learned from online, I don't care what jackrabbit told you some bullshit story on YouTube or social media. Do we understand, no matter the strategy, no matter the time of day, no matter the stop loss, or no matter the take profit, do we understand that losses cannot be prevented? One's in the chat. There's 21 people in here. We should get a lot more than one in the chat. So not even going to move on until we can clearly, like, at least follow some type of instructions, right? Because that's the problem. A lot of time with traders, you guys see one particular thing online and you think, okay, I've got the magic answer, right? I've got the magic answer. I'm just going to go do this. And you just forget about everything else, right? Good. So we've got some more ones in there. At least we can understand that much. Next question, right? Next question. Are we assuming risk that we have built immunity to? Okay. If you don't understand what that means, put a number 2 in the chat. Are we assuming risk that we have built immunity to? If you do not know what that means, put a number 2 in the chat so I can elaborate. That's the follow-up question. Follow-up question is, are we assuming risk that we have pre-built immunity to? So let me cover a little bit what that means. It means, and I would assume most of you guys are trading prop firms, it means that if you have not built immunity to taking losses at one mini contract over at least 100 trades, you are not immune to that risk. Okay? So what does that mean? It means that when the days are great, the days are great. When the days are bad and you take losses, emotionally, psychologically, you are not going to handle it well. It's just like this. If you guys all go to the gym today and you guys haven't been to the gym in a very long time, do you think you're going to go out there and bench press 250 pounds, 300 pounds? Absolutely not. Unless you're just some freak of nature, you're just not going to do it. You haven't built up the muscle, like the fibers yet. You haven't built up the muscle memory. You don't have the form yet. So if you personally have not taken hundreds of losses at one mini contract, what the hell are you doing trading one mini contract on a day in and day out basis? Let alone trading 2, let alone trading 3. Oh, let me raise my hand and answer that. Because everyone wants to pass a prop firm evaluation today. Everyone wants to pass a prop firm evaluation this week. Everyone wants to rush into these funded accounts and act like they're going to make $10,000 this month. Guess what? There's traders who have been doing this for a long time. What makes you think, because you've watched one particular video on YouTube, because you've read one ebook, because you've bought one book from the bookstore on Amazon, what makes you think you are any more different or special enough to go out there in the markets and start pulling out $10,000? Well, I seen this one person on YouTube, and they were copy trading 20 accounts, and I seen that they just took out a $30,000 or $40,000 payout. So that average retail trader sees that. Look, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. The whole prop firm space, I think, is highly beneficial to people who are undercapitalized or have their own capital but looking to add more money to their bottom line. I think it's a beautiful thing. What I also know is that a lot of traders who are underfunded and undercapitalized on their own have a complete false sense of reality as to what and how much you should actually be making on a day in, day out basis. Okay. That's the God honest truth. And there's a lot of time, there's a lot of trades that need to be taken in order for you to get to that level to where you have built up that immunity. So there should be a natural progression ladder. Okay. There should be a natural progression ladder. So it's going to lead me down the pipeline here to, how do you know if you've built up immunity? How many trades have you taken on that size? Here's what I'm going to recommend. And most of you guys will probably just click off the video now. Most of you guys will just probably go continue to just bang your head against the wall and continue to do the same shit. But guess what? We're all doing this so we can get paid. Okay. If I wasn't making money trading, I sure as hell wouldn't trade. Like it is what it is. Right. But for people that, sometimes ask questions, Sometimes, you know, they need help understanding this, that, and the other, because I do run a community and I try to help traders as best as I can with the knowledge. And obviously their opinions, because it's just based on my own experiences in the market. I still see things that are wrong. I still see things that are wrong, and I'm not seeing a change in traders as a whole. Now, again, everyone comes into this from a different experience level. Some people are just picking up trading altogether. They have no idea where to even start. And there's some people who have been doing it for a very long time. They just need to fine tune a couple of things. Okay. There should be a natural progression ladder. And why social media and Discord servers and YouTube videos and Twitter and everywhere else where you get your education or your knowledge from has skewed things is because prop firms and utilizing prop firms and copy trading and having multiple accounts with multiple different prop firms. It's like, you know, one thing that's like super like disheartening is when I see traders and it's like, hey, I've got Apex accounts, but I don't like Apex. And you're complaining about Apex. You've never taken a payout from them. Well, I've seen these people didn't get paid out. You know what? But you've never taken a payout from them. You've never even requested a payout. And then it's like they've got Apex accounts and they've got Top Step accounts. And then they've got Take Profit Trader accounts. And then they're in, you know, straight to funded with Tradeify. And then maybe they've got Perdia or whatever the hell else is out there. And they're with all of these different firms, Tick Trader, Bullnox. And I'm looking around and it's like, you're running 3, 4, 5 different firms, copy trading 5 at a time, 10 at a time, 2 at a time. How much money did you make out of the markets last month? How much money did you get paid from Tick Trader? How much money did you make from Apex Trader? How much money did you make from Top Step? Why the fuck, and excuse the language, kids around, wives around, husbands around, put headphones on or do whatever, but I'm pretty real when I talk. Why are we focusing on 5, 6 different firms with 20 accounts when we haven't even got paid from one? We've got to narrow the focus, okay? We've got to get more realistic here. Well, but D, you know, if I have 3 or 4 different firms and I just copy trade and I just get, you know, just one of them to pay out, it's going to be like $10,000. It's going to be like $15,000, right? If I just, you know, group everything together, I only need to pay out on one of them. You're putting so much unnecessary stress, so much unnecessary pressure on yourself to control and nurse and baby those accounts and trade them perfectly for 2 weeks, trade them perfectly to get to your payout threshold window. And then maybe potentially, you know what you're doing? You're going out to the corner store, you're going out to the gas station, you're going out to the liquor store, and you're spending $200, $300, $400 on scratch or lottery tickets, and you're sitting there outside the liquor store, and you're scratching every single one of them in hopes that you're going to make $1 million, in hopes that you're going to make $1,000, right? That's exactly what you're doing. If you want to treat this as a business, treat it as a fucking business. Okay, so the business model is this. Go out there, start with one firm. Go through all of the firms because they all offer different benefits. All of them have different cons. All of them evaluations are slightly different. Find the best one that you think is going to work for you. Okay, and when you find the best one that you think is going to work for you, then go ahead with that one particular prop firm and buy multiple evaluations because you're probably going to lose some along the way. And then with that, get paid out from at least one account. And when you get paid out from at least one account, you're going to reinvest back into your business. Because again, remember, at the end of the day, this is a business, correct? So we're going to have to take money from our business and reinvest it back into our business. If you pull out $2,000 from one account, you know what I'm doing? I'm for sure taking $1,000 and putting it right back in. What does that mean? In terms of buying more evaluations or combines or whatever the firm calls it, and I'm saving some money for activation fees. Automatically, put $1,000 in my pocket, $1,000 goes back into my business. So it becomes a rinse and repeat cycle, okay? That's going down a different lane. But how do you know if you have built immunity, right? How many trades have you taken on that particular size? And this is what I recommend. Until you're getting paid out on a regular basis, you need to be working a progression ladder in terms of sizing to build immunity. So when the losses come, because remember over here, losses cannot be prevented, right? Losses cannot be prevented. you're okay with taking the losses. Because what happens a lot of times is you take a loss on one particular account, you take a loss on one particular trade, but I followed all the rules. I did everything right. My stop loss was intact. And well, guess what? Take profits and stop losses is what you want. How many points worth of risk is what you want, right? Using a previous 5-minute candle or an order block or an area of support or resistance or whatever strategy you're trading is what you want. What I'm here to tell you is the market doesn't care what you want. You could put a 20 point, 25, 30 point stop loss all you want. Market doesn't care. Market doesn't know your stop loss is there. Market's going to do what the market's going to do. The only reason why we're putting stop losses, the only reason why we're using supply and demand is because it's for our protection, for max pain. Right? So the thing is this, if you haven't built up immunity to a specific size, right? Let's call it a specific size, over 100 trades, where you can sit there and you can take 1, 2, 3, 4 losses and realize, well, hey, market conditions just aren't working with me right now. Because you know what happens? Here's exactly what happens. You take one loss, okay, stings a little bit, hurts. Take another loss, okay, that doesn't feel too good. 3 losses and it's like, shit. Everything that I've learned doesn't seem to be working today, right? It's not, I don't know if it's the market. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's my stop loss. Well, I know how to trade this other way. So let me go try this other strategy. Let me go learn this. Let me actually double my size on the next one. That way I can recover, right? We start doing all sorts of things that are outside of the entire process. Why? Because we haven't built immunity to those losses at that position size. And you have not taken enough trades to learn what that overall win rate percentage is. So in my particular situation, I can sit here and tell people that I have an 80, 85% win rate, 90% win rate on certain days. On certain days. There's been days I've taken 4 or 5 trades, 100% win rate. Does that mean my strategy never loses? Of course not. There's days where I win 75%, 80% on that specific day. But what does it do over a block of 100 trades? That's what I want to know. All I'm in a race to is get 100 setups. Because now, based on data, and if you guys aren't journaling and you guys don't understand, maybe like I use for Top Step, I use Top Step X. It's got the journaling feature on it. It'll show you your win loss rate percentages and stuff, right? I use TraderVate for Apex. It's got the back end dashboard. You can see, I can pull up a month's worth of data and look at my numbers. What's my average hold time? How many trades did I take? How much I pay in commissions, right? If you don't have that, there's other softwares that will do it. You can link it. TradeZella is one of them. There's all kinds of certain different shit you can do. What is your strategy or the system you're using? How does it perform over 100 trades? What's the net outcome? What's the net outcome? Is it 62%? Is it 70%? Are you even profitable? Is it profitable? Right? And once you start to figure out what those numbers are over a block of 100 trades, guess what needs to be focused on after that? Is getting through the losses. You want to take losses at your designated risk. Of course, you don't want to take, $1,000 losses a trade if that's not in your trade plan. You want to lock up a $300 red day. You know why? Because you're still en route to the bigger picture. What's the bigger picture? Getting payouts. Okay. What's the bigger picture? 100 trades. What comes after 100 trades? You're going to have some good, firm, hard data where you can now start to adjust size and do different things to scale up your business. Maybe you can run it on 2 accounts, 3 accounts, 4 accounts, and so forth, right? So based on 100 trades, what's the outcome, guys? Like if someone was to come to me and say, how'd you do? How'd you do last month? You know, I took an average of 128 trades on one particular account. I hit it 72%, right? 72%. That doesn't mean that I was profitable 10, 15, 20, $30,000. I'll give you an insight into what my numbers are based on my risk to reward ratio. Remember, yours is going to be different, obviously. But based on the number of trades that I took last month, I'm only making on each account around $3,000 to like $3,700 each account, right? That's the goal. So if I can do that between $3,000 and $4,000, including loss days, including losing trades, it's fantastic, because what does that do for me? It ensures that I'm going to get one payout a month. Right? I'm not trying to sit here and get a payout every 5 days. I'm not trying to sit here and, you know, as soon as 8 days hits with that firm, we all know which firm it is. As soon as I'm on my 8th trading day, I'm going to go request a payout. You know? So learn the numbers, right? What can be put in place, right? What can be put in place? We're right here in the middle. What can be put in place to help pull the plug while en route to building that immunity and your P&L balance cushion, right? What can be put in place? Some platforms are offering lockouts. Like I know TraderVate, you can go into the risk settings parameter. You can set a personal daily loss limit of, hey, I lose $400, I lose $300. It won't let me trade on the platform, right? You can even do profit targets, right? If I make $1,000 this week, I can't trade anymore, right? If I make $1,000 this week, I'm not going to give anything back, right? You can look at it like that. If I make $5,000 this week, I'm not going to give it back. Whatever that number is that you want, okay? Top Step X offers it. I'm sure there's other ways you can do it. Now, the only one I don't know if you can do it on is NinjaTrader, right? Like, I don't know if they're going to allow you to lock out and stuff. So if you love NinjaTrader and you love some of these platforms that don't offer some of these services, you, my friend, are going to need to be a little bit more tough and disciplined on yourself. So I'm going to be completely honest. I could give a shit less how much you love NinjaTrader, how much you love Rhythmic, or whatever platform that you're trading on. If you are having problems walking away on a red day, if you are having problems going on tilt, if you are having problems oversizing and revenge trading, I'm going to be the first to tell you that's not the platform for you. I don't care how much you love the charting tools. I don't care how much you love the platform. It's not the right platform for you, because it's actually not helping you. It's putting you at a disadvantage. So would you rather have ease of chartability, meaning, oh, I love the way I can draw on this chart. I love the way that it executes my orders. For what? You're going to love the way that it's going to execute you in the negative as well. So what I would do is find a platform that's going to allow some type of lockout feature, if that's your problem, okay? If that's your problem. For many of you, I already know what the problem is. It's the lack of discipline. It's the boredom trades. It's sitting there and wanting that one more trade mentality. When are you going to wake up? Right? When are you going to wake up and realize that the more you sit here does not mean it's the more you make? When are you going to realize that it hurts when you run your head into the wall? And what changes are you going to actually do to ensure that you're taking those necessary steps that need to be done? NinjaTrader is great. Yes, a lot of people love it. 70% of the people I trade with use NinjaTrader. It's great. But if you have a problem with being up $500 on a day, over trading and giving it all back and going into drawdown $1,000, it's not the platform for you. Right? If you're not going to have the discipline and the self-control to understand a lot of these things, it's not the right tool for you. Right? I'm all about what's going to help the trader. What's going to help the trader? What's going to get you to that next level? What's going to actually get you paid on a consistent basis, right? Now, again, we're all human. Am I the most consistent person in the world? Absolutely not, guys. Do I still make mistakes? Of course. Do I still overtrade sometimes because I think the setup is great? Of course. But there's an experience factor that comes in, and it'll come in with each and every single one of you with time, where you catch that mistake in real time. In real time. Not 5 trades down the line when you've lost 10 accounts. On that trade, catch yourself, you ground yourself, you walk away, you restart tomorrow. The best way, and again, I kind of got away from this topic. The best way that you are going to build immunity is you need to take a lot of trades, but you need to take trades without a lot of financial risk. And even if you're trading a prop firm, I understand that your true investment is only the evaluation cost or the evaluation plus activation fee cost, so forth and so forth. But you need to be around this business and in this game long enough to build that immunity. And if I was new all over starting out again and someone told me, if I can get you to cut out 1 year of pain and struggling and constant losing and banging your head against the wall, or 2 years, if I could cut that out of your I guess your journey, right? I can cut that portion out of your journey to being a profitable and consistent trader. Wouldn't you want to cut out that 12 months time, that 18 months time, that 24 months of time of just pain and struggling, right? Wouldn't you want to do that? Here's the best way to do it. Here's the best way to do it. This is going to be more so for people that are already in funded accounts or are managing funded accounts, but you can definitely start off in the evaluation doing it this way. Again, the focus should not be on the dollar amount. The focus should just be on actually building up that muscle memory and that immunity. You trade 1 micro for 100 trades. You trade 1 micro for at least 50, okay? 100 might be a little bit extreme on 1 micro. For at least 50 trades or 2 weeks time. And you know what you do after the 50 trades or 2 weeks time? Were you profitable? Yes or no? Yes or no? I don't care if you're profitable $50. Were you profitable executing your strategy, executing in your time window, executing your stop loss, executing your profits, your profit targets? 1 micro, 50 trades, or 2 weeks, whichever comes first. Analyze the numbers. Were you profitable? Great. Yes, it's time for graduation. From 1 micro to 3 micros. We do the same thing in repeat. 50 trades or 2 weeks, whichever comes first. Analyze the numbers. Are you profitable? If you're not profitable on 3 contracts and you're realizing that you're still doing the same fuddy-duddy mistakes where you're over trading, you're changing position size around, you're moving stop losses when you shouldn't, you're not walking away from the computer screen when you shouldn't, you go right back down, you get right demoted back into 1 micro contract. Many of you are having troubles trading because there's no discipline factor or fear of consequence other than just, hey, I lost another account, no one knows about it. I'll just go, buy a few more, I'll just keep doing this. And, no one knows I spent $1,000 yesterday or this month on evaluations. We got to stop doing that. We got to turn the game around on the prop firms. You have to turn the game around on the prop firms. You're doing exactly what their business model is meant to do, right? It is not the prop firm here to help the trader benefit. The only benefit of any of these prop firms is leverage. The only benefit of any of these prop firms is the low barrier to entry. Okay, that's it. They're not here looking out for you as a trader. They don't care if you're successful or not. They're not making any money off of your trades. You're never going to go trade with them and be, they're never going to give you a plaque that you can put on the wall and said, hey, Mr. Hurst here is a fantastic trader. And, he was our top trader. Who gives a shit at the end of the day? Are you putting money in the bank account or not? Right? And how are we going to do that? So you need to work through this progression ladder. It's 1 micro contract for 50 trades or 2 weeks. Then we analyze. Profitable? Great. We graduate. 3 micro contracts, 50 trades or 2 weeks. We analyze. Great. We're making money here. We're not breaking rules. We're not over trading. There should be no reason why anyone would ever blow an account trading 1 or 3 micros. If we're blowing an account on 1 or 3 micros, we've got other issues in terms of stop loss sizes. You must have been in a trade from Globex session open all the way until New York close, and the damn market went against you 400 points and you lost, $800 a micro. I mean, maybe, but I don't think anyone out there is doing that, right? So we should be pretty safe to where we can weed ourselves in and out of trades. But you know what it's going to do? What it's going to do along the way is give you a lot of chart time. It's going to give you a lot of executions. You guys are actually going to start to see, hey, you know what? I don't feel anything now getting out of these trades. What we want to feel is nothing. Is nothing. When you take a loss, $50, great. Where's my next trade at? Where's my next trade? You take a winner, $100, great. Where's my next trade at? I'm not sitting there. We're not patting each other on the back. We're not, crying about the $50 loss. We're not crying about the $100 loss. Where's my next trade at? Let's go. I need 50 more. That's the whole mentality. Until you feel nothing, you do not increase the size. What gives you the right to trade 1, 2, 3 mini contracts? I'm curious. I'll leave this floor open for 30 seconds if anyone wants to ask. What gives you the right to trade 1, 2, or 3 mini contracts? What makes you think you can trade 1, 2, or 3 mini contracts? And I do not want to hear, well, it's an evaluation. I want to pass it fast. We get it. There's a whole other business model to that where we can leverage a lot of contracts, look for relatively small price targets and pass in one day. I get that. I'm talking about when you're super close to passing that evaluation. When you're super close to getting into the funded account, when you're in a funded account, what's giving you the right to trade 1, 2, or 3 mini contracts? Based on what experience level do you have? Based on what balance? Have you ran up a balance on your funded accounts and you have $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 worth of drawdown? Because on what God's green earth does one think they can trade 2, 3 mini contracts on a $2,000 drawdown? Because truth be told, you go into the real markets, you put your money into a real brokerage, you guys don't even have enough. You guys don't even have enough margin to cover that. So, where is the thought process here? Yeah, nothing. And that's the thing. I mean, we already know this though. But why are we making the same mistakes? I'm going to give you guys a case in point here. Do you realize you guys could trade smaller in the beginning? Guys, I'm not saying forever. Okay, and I don't like how people can take what I'm saying and say, well, man, I don't want to trade, 1 micro for the rest of my life. It's not. It's until we build up the immunity. You want to trade bigger size? Then let's get this work done now. Let's get the work done and out of the way now so we can trade bigger size. Okay, so we've got to let a lot of the ego stuff go. We've got to let a lot of the, hey, the market's hot, this strategy, everyone's using this strategy now. Everyone's trading this model. Everyone's trading this, blah, blah, blah. It's all bullshit, guys. It's all bullshit. It's all the same stuff. You could trade Fibonacci retracements, moving averages, fair value gaps, inversions, fucking unicorns, and whatever, gopher holes, or whatever you guys want to trade. It's all the same stuff. Okay, at the end of the day, it's all the same stuff. What really matters is the risk management portion, and what really matters is how you're conducting yourself when you're in and out of these trades, and how you're going to walk away from certain days when you know that walking away on certain days is only en route to the bigger picture, right? So this is the scaling model. It goes from 1 micro, 50 trades or 2 weeks. Are we profitable? That's the first test. Yes, we move into 3 micros. 3 micros, 50 trades minimum, and or 2 weeks. Are we profitable? Yes or no? We graduate into 5. You can see how the progression ladder is going to continue to go. It's going to go from 5 contracts doing the same thing into 7 and into 10 micros. Why not 1 mini? 10 micros, we do the same thing. If you can handle yourself on 10 micros, then you can weave in and out between 1 mini and 5 micros, depending on volatility, depending on setup, depending on the range. I'll give you an example. I'm trading between 1 and 2 minis. I trade 50K accounts for the funded account, so I don't have a lot of drawdown to start, $2,000, $2,500 drawdown. So it's not like I can trade 5 mini contracts. Can I? Sure. If I'm right, great. If I'm wrong, bye-bye account. It's gone. We all know that. So 2 is really pushing it. I'm comfortable with 1 a lot of the times. But depending on setup, I'll give you an example. For some of the setups that I trade, sometimes it requires me to open up the trade with a 20 to 25 point stop loss. If I'm not comfortable with potentially losing $400 to $500 at that specific time, the trade, one of 2 things happens. 1 does not get taken because I have to let it go. It's like, this is what I feel a lot of times too. Sometimes you guys get a setup, it looks beautiful on the charts, everything looks great, it's aligning, and you still throw you're still throwing up big size, even though the potential stop loss or the potential pullback or the potential bounce on it could be 20, 30, 40 points. You guys are still just going crazy with the same amount of size. Like, we're not even adjusting our size. I'm curious right now. How many people adjust your size based on what your stop loss is going to be? Meaning, do you have a dynamic stop loss based on some type of technical analysis, some type of previous candle, some type of support or resistance? Or are you guys running into every single trade with a generic stop loss? Meaning, every trade I'm risking 10 points and I'm looking for 20 every single trade. That could also be a problem, because not every 2 trades is the same, even though it's the same strategy. Does that make sense? Because the ranges and the market conditions are different on a day in and day out basis. So you have to think about it. If the market conditions are extremely volatile and the ranges, like, I'll give you guys an example. Since Christmas, since the end of December, our ranges in the NASDAQ are huge right now. So if we have even if we have a mechanical stop loss of 20 points, these things are all going to get hit very easy in relatively high range, versus when times are slower and the market conditions are different and the ATR is a lot lower and it might be closer to 20 to 30 points, you can get away with maybe a smaller stop loss, or you can get away with that generic stop loss. Now, again, here's another question, right? This is for you, Shift. If you have a dynamic stop loss, risk stays the same unless you're on tilt. So if your dynamic stop loss moves in terms with your supply and demand or levels that you have, does your contract sizing change as well? Meaning, I think you know what I mean, but let's say trade setup number 1 is requiring a 20-point stop loss, and we're comfortable risking $200 on that. So maybe we play 5 micros. And the next trade setup maybe is only a 12-point stop loss or a 15-point stop loss. Probably a bad example for this market conditions, but maybe we can size up to 8 micros or 1 mini. Within your max stop loss, you have some flexibility, but cannot move your stop backwards, only forward into profit. That's fine. But the question is, I'll give you an example for me. Let's say I'm looking at a specific candle or a specific reason why candle, and my stop loss is 25 points. Or no, excuse me. Let me put it into more realistic, perspective here. There was a trade setup. It wasn't today. It was last week sometime. The reason why candle, the reason why I was looking to get into this potential breakout, the candle previous close was 70 points. 70 points. I can't trade 1 mini contract with potentially a 70-point pullback. Now, again, before anyone starts to think, well, if it's up 70 points, why would you risk 70 points? Because you're not understanding market dynamics. You're not understanding market conditions. If you're getting in on continuation of a breakout, if you're getting in on continuation of momentum of a trend, and you have a previous candle that's 50 points, 60 points, 70 points, do you realize that that trade is not even technically broken until it closes below the previous candle? Technically can pull back 69 points on a 70-point range and still go higher. How many times have we been in a trade where, let's say you get into the trade, that the mother effer pulls back 40 points, stops you out, and 10 minutes later it's still going in the direction you wanted it to go? Right? So think about it. If I'm going into a trade that potentially has that much risk, again, I don't really love those trades, but again, it might be a setup that you trade all the time, and the ranges and the conditions are different. Right now, that's what the market is giving us. So let's just say there's potentially 50 points down. Let's say we're looking long, right? I'm just using an example. We're looking long, we're playing a breakout, boom, candle starts to break out. You don't want to chase that one candle because you're in fear of it pulling back, obviously. So we need that candle to close, and then we need some type of confirmation, either a slight pullback or a confirmation of the high, right? That's pretty much aligning with almost everyone's strategy. If we get into that candle and it's a potential 50 points, I cannot trade 1 mini contract on that. There's no way in hell that I'm going to give up close to 1,000 points. So what do I have to do? 1, not take the trade. because I'm not comfortable with the risk. 2, I got to cut the position sizing down. I can't trade 1 mini. Maybe I got to trade three micros. Maybe I got to trade 4 micros. Yeah, I'm going to make less money, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to protect my ass. So if I only want to lose $300 a trade, I've got to fit the number of contracts that I'm trading into that risk. So for you, Shift, if you're still here, are you fitting the number of contracts into how much you're going to risk per trade? Even though you're adjusting your stop loss based on where the supply and demand is? Or are you running into every trade with the same amount of contracts? And here's another thing, guys. For most of you guys, I would assume you guys are scalpers. I would assume you guys are trend traders, you know, short-term trend traders, where you're not holding trades for 3+ hours. Realistically, there should be a hard rule in everyone's playbook where we are never moving our stop loss. Why is there a reason why we are ever moving a stop loss on a day trade? You have a trade idea. The trade idea either works or it doesn't, and you're out of the trade for profit or for loss. Why are we moving it? Because you know what you're going to do? You're going to build such a bad habit, because guess what? And it happens to all of us. That one time we move our stop loss, maybe we dollar cost average down. Guess what happens? The SOB bounces. It starts to come back. Now we're break even. Now we're in profit. Now we're rolling. Now we're selling for a profit, and we think that we're the world's greatest trader. Guess what? Next time you do that, or maybe like 5 trades later when you do that, it doesn't work out that way. And not only did you average down, not only did you move your stop loss more than it should have been, you didn't accept the loss. And now you're taking a loss 3, 4, 5 times as big. Those kind of mistakes is what's setting you back. Those kind of mistakes is what's making it so hard to crawl out of this max loss and tilt day syndrome. Right? So again, for some of you scalpers out there, here's a big one that I've heard as well. Well, when I'm scalping and I'm taking small points, I don't like, you know, potentially losing 3, 4, 5 R. You don't have to. You don't have to. Right? You don't have to. But if I need to give myself 20 points of risk and I'm only looking for 5 points, then yes, I have to. But who says you need to trade that way? You are telling yourself you need to trade that way. Here's what you can do. You can I do the same thing. I open up, I'll give you guys my parameters. 5-point take profit, 20-point stop loss. I open up the bracket with 20 points. I open up the bracket with 20 points. I get into the trade. The trade goes up 1 point, goes up 2 points, 3 points, and then pulls back. And now it's break even. And now I'm down 3 points, 4 points, 5 points, and then it stops. And then it goes back. Up, 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 almost to break even. And I see there's no more momentum. Guess what gets done? I'm out. Click, click, click. I'm out. I'm never letting it get to that 20 points. Now, again, sometimes you get into a trade, it goes up 3 points, and then just goes down 15, 20 points, stops you out. Yes, that's going to happen. But there's a lot of times, guys, where you're getting into these trades and you see it's not working. It's starting to stall. It's starting to stall. It's giving you that second opportunity. Get out for a small loss. It's giving you that second opportunity. Get out for a small profit. It's giving you that second opportunity. Get out for break even. And you don't do it. Well, maybe it's going to go, maybe it's going to run your stop and cause you to go on tilt. You never want to take your max loss. The only time we're taking a full loss is this. 2 situations. You're a scalper. I'll just use generic 5 points take profit, 5 points stop loss. That's when you take a full loss. 5 points take profit, 5 points stop loss. Okay? You're only taking a full loss if it's something beyond your control in terms of the speed and volatility of that candle. You got into it, it wicked you in 2 points and then just shot down 20 points. That's still, I mean, there's nothing you can do. Like you couldn't even click the button fast enough. That's the only time we're letting ourselves get fully stopped out at a loss. The only reason you're opening up the trade with a full bracket like that of a specific range is because, yeah, that's technically when the trade is broken. But we should all through levels of experience of forward testing and back testing, how long does your trade setup typically take to work? I'm going to go around the room based on your setup. And again, doesn't have to be, don't just start calling out my setups. Don't start calling out the way I trade. I want to hear from you. Based on how you trade, based on your take profit, when your trade works, when it's easy, how long are you in the trade for? Let's get a few answers. Let's get a few answers and then we'll move on. When your trade setup works out and your take profit gets hit, how long are we in the trade on average? We've got less than 1 minute. We've got 1 to 2 minutes. We've got 30 to 90 seconds. We've got 5 to 30 minutes. Let's get a couple more, guys. We've got 40 people in here. Let's get a couple more answers. A minute or two. 5 to 15 minutes. Let's get a follow-up to the people that just answered. What was this one? Depends on the market. Sometimes it's only a couple of minutes and lower volume might hold for 10 minutes or so. 1 to 2, 5 to 20. Okay. Let's get a follow-up on the people who just answered. What time frame are you entering your trade? What time frame? What time frame on the chart? Ron's 1 minute. So we're playing 2 minute chart. Okay. 1 minute chart. 1 minute, 1 minute, 2 minutes. Are any of us running a time stop, guys? Are any of us running a time stop on our trades? And if you don't know what a time stop is, just type it out. Just say, I don't know what the hell a time stop is. Do we know what a time stop is? Okay. A time stop is this, guys. Based on your data, and you're only gonna get that through taking trades, right? So this is why having your data at the end of 100 trades, at the end of a month, is going to be working out to your benefit. If most of you guys right now are noticing your trades are working in under a minute, your trades are working in under 2 minutes, when it's perfect, guys, when you get into the trade, it confirms, it just goes, it hits your take profit in 5 minutes, and you know that as long as you're in this trade in under 5 minutes, it's normally seamless. You're not sweating, you're not, grabbing the edge of your chair, you're not throwing your fucking monitor out the window, you're not doing anything stupid where you're doubling down, moving stop losses and stuff like that. If you're not doing any of that stuff and your trade's working out in that specific time window, what do you think's going to happen the longer you're in that trade? It's very simple. You're probably going to lose, because how many times, if your trade normally works, I'm just using a fictitious number because I don't know your guys' stats. Let's just say 70% of the time that your trade works, it's under 2 minutes. What do you think the win rate percentage on that particular setup or that particular trade goes to if you're in the same trade for 6 minutes? If you're in the same trade for 7 minutes? It probably goes way down. Same thing for some of you guys that are holding for swing highs and swing lows. Maybe you're in the trade for 5 minutes, from between, let's call it 10 minutes and 15 minutes. What do you think's probably going to happen if it's not really working out and minute 20 has hit, and minute 22, and minute 23 has hit? It's probably not going to work out. It's probably going to make you anxious. It's probably going to make you move the stop loss. It's probably going to make you average down. And if you do take the loss, it's probably going to make you revenge trade and add more size to the next setup so you can gain that loss back, because you know that you should have got out of the trade a lot sooner. Having a mental time clock stop is very, very beneficial to you. So for example, most of my trades, they work between 1.5 minutes and 2 minutes. If I'm approaching the 2 minute mark, 2.5, 3 minutes, and it's stalling around my entry still, and I'm up a little bit, I'm down a little bit, I'm down a little bit more, I'm back flat, guess what happens? I'm out. I don't care if it didn't go. And you know what happens probably 2 or 3 times out of 10? The moment I get out of the trade, 2 minutes later, it either flushes and I saved myself a big loss, or it shoots up 10, 15 points and I would have gotten filled. Do I care? Do I sit and cry about it? No, because for every 2 or 3 times that it goes up 10 to 15 points and I would have taken a profit, there's another handful of times where it goes down 10 or 15 points and I save myself potentially losing $300 or $400. I saved myself from that max potential loss. That's why having the data is so important. You need to have mental time stops, guys. If the trade's not working and you know 70% of the time it works in 2 minutes, you know 70% of the time it works in 3 minutes, and you're in the trade for 6 or 7 minutes, get the hell out of the trade. If you haven't hit full loss and you can protect that loss, get out. Because guess what's going to roll around, guys? Guess what's going to roll around? A winning trade's going to roll around. One where you don't have to do anything. One where you don't have to sweat and you don't have to panic and you don't have to move your stop losses. I'm pretty sure all of each and every single one of you guys is not your first day trading, that you've entered and exited a trade more than 10 times, right? In your trading careers. Don't you win trades? Haven't you? This is a very generic and a stupid question. Haven't you guys won trades before? Let's get that in the chat. Type a Y if you've won trades before. Have you won trades before? Or is everyone showing up here and you've never won a trade before in your life? Put a Y in the chat if you've won a trade. Have you ever won a trade? It sounds stupid, but sometimes we need to get back to basics and we need to ask ourselves these questions. Of course, we've all won trades before, right, guys? We've all won trades before. The market's not going anywhere today. It's not going anywhere tomorrow. Rutkit has never won a trade before. I feel really bad for you. Stick around. Maybe you'll win one. Again, the market's going to be here next week, guys. The market's going to be here next month. So why do we need to put ourselves through that emotional stress and that emotional pain and blowing out accounts and restarting and resetting and putting more money into this stuff if we know that pulling ourselves out of this one potential losing trade at break even or a small loss before it can catch our stop loss, we're actually saving and protecting ourselves for those trades where we don't have to do nothing? How about this question? Let's put a 1 in the chat. Have you ever got into the trade where your setup happens, you enter into the trade, you got a stop loss, and you sit back and next thing you know, profit filled, order filled, right? Like, haven't we got into trades before and it just kind of worked out and you really didn't need to do nothing other than just click the button and buy or click the button and sell? That's what it should feel like. The times where we're feeling uneasy, right? The times where it's kind of pulling back and it's playing with us and it's pulling back and it's playing with us, those are not the trades you want. We want to let those go. We want to be a trader. What is being a trader? You want to manage the trade. You want to be a trader. A trader is going to get out of those trades that aren't working for you in your designated, your time clock stop, right? Based on your metrics. I'm not saying for some of you guys who, my average trade works in 15 minutes. I'm not saying for you guys to get out of the trade if it doesn't work in 2 minutes. If your average trade winning time for your percentage is 15 minutes and, your clock starts at 15 minutes, how much time are you going to give it outside of 15 minutes before you cut the trade? Because it should have worked. The same thing for you guys in under a minute. If it's 2.5 minutes and your trade normally works in 45 seconds, 70% of the time, how much longer are you going to let this thing jerk you around? I want you guys to remember this. You do not work for the market. You do not work for the charts. They work for you. And guess what? If you're the boss and it's not doing what you want it to do, what do you think you need to do? Fire it. You're not going to work with me. You're not going to perform the way I want you to perform. You're out. Build some thicker skin. Build a tougher mentality. Build a no bullshit, no nonsense, disciplined mentality, and you're going to do so much better. Don't allow it to play with your emotions, guys. It's just like being in that relationship. I don't know how old you guys are, but you know, if you've ever been married, you've ever dated, you've ever this, that, and other, maybe you're married right now. Don't let them play with your emotions. Yeah, it's give and take, but I'll tell you, this is what I'm giving, but this is what I'm taking. It's the same thing with the market. If you're not providing me any value, I'm out. I'm sorry. I'm not sticking around for the same song and dance. Right? So with trading, you have to have this work for you or move it along. Right? So it's a little bit of a tough situation, right? Because we never want to finish red. We never want to have a bad day. We never want to go on tilt. But what is causing us to go on tilt? I don't think that we're fully understanding that the losses can't be prevented. Because why are you so upset, right? If you guys all have a personal daily loss limit, right? I'm not talking about what the firm allows you to lose. I'm saying you guys all have a personal daily loss limit that will keep you in business for tomorrow. That's much lower than what the prop firm's allowing you. I'll give you guys an example. Mine's 500 on a 50K account. If I F up, you know, I take bad trades or the market doesn't work with me today and I lose $500, I'm done. I'm not trading that account anymore. We all have some type of personal daily loss limit, right? So it's 300. Are we respecting, for you, Shift, are we respecting the 300 100% of the time? Are we respecting our personal daily loss limit 100% of the time? Everyone's daily loss limit will be different. It's all based on levels of how much you want to give up and stuff like that. What your risk tolerance is. Everyone has a different risk tolerance. So I don't ever expect anyone to be like, everyone needs the same risk tolerance. It's fine as long as you have something that's less than what the prop firm is giving you. So the question is for, okay, Charles, Hurst, I'm waiting for Shift because I know Shift had a red day today. As soon as Shift answers, I will go on. Shift, do you respect that $300 100% of the time you trade? The simple question is why? Why not? Charles, why not? Hurst, why not? Shift, why not? What are we scared of? We're not in middle school, guys. No one's going to make fun of us. No one knows when we take a $300 loss or $500 loss or whatever our daily loss. This is not middle school. The girl's not going to laugh at us. No one's going to make fun of us. Why aren't we accepting the loss? Is it because the loss is too much? Because it's going to lead me back to the point of, if we have not built immunity to being comfortable losing $300, then maybe our daily loss limit should be $150. If we're not comfortable stopping out, I don't know what Charles is or Hurst is, daily loss limit is, but I'll use the other example here. If we're not comfortable losing $600, maybe it should be $300. So the question is that needs to get answered, and it's not just to me, guys. I'm doing this so you guys can talk to yourselves, so you guys can answer these questions yourselves. For Charles and Hurst, why are we not respecting the daily loss limit 100% of the days if we know that's what we need to do to get payouts? When the red mist comes, you think you know better than the market, but you don't, though. You don't. You don't. I don't. I don't care if you've been trading for 40 years. If you've been trading for 50 years, you're going to take a loss. You can ask the most experienced trader that you guys will ever come across. They're still going to endure red days. It's just like a long-term investor, guys, who's been investing in the S&P 500 for over 50 years. Do you think that they never sat through periods of drawdown? Do you think that they never took a losing quarter? Do you think they never had a down year? What makes us any different? Because after multiple losses, I have lost total emotional control. So I think, yeah, so I just haven't gotten any traction. Maybe I need to go back to what made you. So, but here's the thing, Shift. Here's the thing. That's a complete psychological issue, because if you have gotten payouts before, this is not your first rodeo. This is not your first rodeo. You have taken payouts before, and you know what it takes to get a payout. Why would we change anything? We don't change anything. Once we have something that works for us, we do not change anything. All we do is scale. In terms of more accounts, not by more dollar amount per trade. That's the difference. For those of you, rest of you folks who don't know what it means to scale in the prop firm business, scaling means not putting on more contract size, not, going from a $500 day to a $1,000 day. No, it means going from making $1,000 an account on 5 accounts to making $1,000 an account times 10 accounts. That's how you scale. You go from $5,000 a month to $10,000 a month. That's how you scale. We don't do anything different. And back to Charles, when you think you know the market, but you don't. And we know that though. We know we're not going to understand the market. You know that there's days where the setup is perfect, all the stars align, the volatility is a little bit high today, boom, gets you into a trade, boom, next thing you know, you're out, you're on your face, you lost. What happened? I don't know. It's just like the other day. For those of you guys in my room, Harinder had asked me something about a 30-minute opening range trade that failed. He said, what could he do better? Nothing. What do you mean? The 30-minute opening range failed today. It wicked everyone in by 1.5 points and it went down 30 points. There's nothing you can do about that. Okay, we got to move on, right? That doesn't mean I just, turn around and go short. I've got to find another level. It doesn't mean I just turn around and buy the dip. I mean, the question I ask myself is, because I took the trade on one of my accounts, I didn't take a full 30-point loss. But the thing is, okay, well, what can I do? I can protect that account by going to another account. I go to another account. And if I'm not mentally up for it anymore, again, I get it. Not everyone has, 10 accounts, 20 accounts. I get it. Let's say you have 2 accounts. I'll just work someone very small. You have 2 accounts. You took a $300 loss on one of your accounts. And you know what? You're beaten up about it, right? You don't feel too good about it. You don't really know what the market's doing now. You thought you had the perfect setup, and you just feel uneasy. Guess what you do? You come back tomorrow. Because the market's not going anywhere. We've got to get better at walking away. Depending on your personality type and makeup, taking the loss, extremely hard. Okay, so I will say this. And I've told this to people in the past who do one-on-one calls that come into my room. If you're a highly motivated and highly competitive person, maybe you've played sports, maybe you're just, super entrepreneur, maybe you have done manual labor. I don't know. If you're a competitive person by nature, losing is going to tick you off 9 times out of 10. I'm super competitive. Okay. I'm super competitive. I mean, competitive to a level where I will compare everything that I'm doing, whether it's now, I'm an old guy now, but whether it's playing golf, I want to beat all my friends that are out there, right? I go out there, shoot around, have some beers, have a good fun. I want to be the best still. Am I the best? Absolutely not. Half the time I'm looking for the ball in the woods, but I still want to be the best, right? So the thing is that I have learned to switch that. Okay. I have learned to switch that competitiveness to being competitive in doing what I need to do, not necessarily about being right. $300 loss, boom. Okay. First, the competitive person in the competitive nature wants to scratch and crawl and fight and throw punches to come back. Where I have shifted is now to, great, I'm done. into another account. That trade, forget about it. That account, forget about it today. Next trade goes onto a new account. That's where I've gotten competitive. Getting competitive into following the rules. The more you get competitive into following the rules versus the outcome is where you're going to start to make strides like by 1,000. The more you get better at walking away, and that's the competitive juice that you have versus, no, I need to get it back, is when you start making progression in massive leaps forward. But the thing is losing trades is not a failure. You want to lose trades because it's like this: out of 100 trades, a 70% winner, a 70% winning trader is going to lose 30 trades. You're going to lose 30. Now, you don't know if those 5 trades are going to come back to back to back to back. That could be 5 days in a row at one trade a day. What are you going to do? Sit and give up? Right? You can't give up and throw in the towel and get angry, get aggressive, get revengeful, get spiteful because you lost. Because realistically, even like, does anyone know here how much you got? What's your, like, over a month? What do you guys win at? What percent trader are you? Like, I'm a 72% trader. Like, I know that pretty much. It's between 70 75. You gotta be the best. You gotta be the best loser. The best loser wins, right? If you guys go read that book, Best Loser Wins. Or there's a bunch of other psychology guys out there that have done this shit over the years. But it's like but you guys know that. Like, I'm not telling you guys anything that you haven't heard before, but you're not doing it. But you got to hold yourself accountable. You got to hold yourself accountable. And maybe to be truthfully honest, how many of you guys are doing stuff outside the charts, holding yourself accountable? Outside of trading. Very high win rate, but a few losses wipe it all away. Either your risk to reward, your R to R is way skewed, or you are folding under pressure. Because I will tell you this, the higher your win rate is, like my win rate's pretty high on a day-to-day basis, the higher your win rate is, the harder it is to accept loss, because you win. Oh shit, this one's losing. God darn it. This one's losing. Son of a bitch. You start getting pissed off. You like, those emotions start to come out. Why? Because you're a winner. Right? Because you're a winner. No, it should be, I won 1, I won 2, I won 3. Loser, boom, okay, get that one out. I want that loser out as fast as possible. I want to get away from the loser as fast as possible. What do I want to do? Wait for my next setup, take the next one. Winner, loser, get it out. Winner, loser. It's when you take the loser off the open. It's when you take the loser today, you stop out. You take the loser tomorrow, you stop out. This business is all about longevity, guys. Now, I'm going to be completely brutally honest. If you guys want to sit around and you guys want to continue to, make the same mistakes that you guys made in 2024, and you want to continue to do the same things that are hindering your progression, then continue to sit there and do the same things. But you're never going to make it. You might get lucky and get one payout, and you might not see one for 6 months. I'm talking about getting payouts on a monthly basis. You're going to have to size down. You're going to have to take small base hits. You're going to have to build up the immunity to your position size. It's a progression ladder, guys. It's a progression ladder. You're not ready to put on 5 micros. You're not ready to put on 2 mini contracts. You need to be at 1. And you need to prove that your system is actually profitable over 2 weeks. Trading 1. I don't care if it's profitable by $100. Is it even profitable trading the way you're trading? If it's not, then you need to find some fine-tune adjustments in there with stop loss and take profits and make it profitable. And until it's profitable, then you size up. And you need to do it so many times to where you don't feel a thing. I've told this story in the past in my room. When I first started to learn how to trade, the person who taught me how to trade, I used to trade 1 share. 1 fucking share. It would go up 10 cents. It would go down 10 cents, 15 cents. I would have to sell when trade technically was broken, and I take profits where I was supposed to. One share. Do you know how hard it is to sit next to someone who's trading 10 100 share lots, trading 1,000 shares, and for every 50 cents that it goes up, they're making $500. For every dollar the stock goes up, they're making $1,000 and I'm making $1. Do you know how hard that is? This is kind of going back to Shift's point, where looking around the room and seeing all this shit on social media and seeing how much people make and this, that, and the other. Guys, screw everyone. Because who's putting money on your table? Is it everyone else with the screenshots? Is it everyone else with the magic strategies? Is it everyone else over leveraging to the fucking gills? Or is it you? Who's putting food on your table? It sure as hell ain't the next guy. So what does it matter how much everyone's making? Right? What is the competition? I want to be like them. I want to do this. I want to do that. You have no idea how much they're investing. I'll give you guys an example. I know someone who makes about $20,000 to $30,000 a month from the prop firms. Average. Sometimes more. You know how much they're putting in every month? About 8,000 to 9,000. 8,000 to 9,000. Okay? This is a money in versus money out game. You think you're going to go out there and get 2 accounts and run it up to $20,000, $30,000, you got another thing coming. This is a money in versus money out business when it comes to trading prop firms. When you stay small, I grow. When I go to 5 micros, I get emotional. Yeah, because you know what, Hurst? You're not ready yet for 5 micros. You're not ready yet. In this question, when I used to teach people how to trade options back in the day, and they would like to scale up to multiple contracts and this, that, and the other, they would ask, when's it a time to scale up? You'll know when it's time to scale up. You know why, Hurst? When it gets so fucking boring and it's so repetitive and you've taken so many wins to where you're like, all right, I can throw on 3 contracts now. I don't feel anything. It's a natural progression. No, it's not a certain dollar amount. People think, how much money do I need to make before I can trade? No, has nothing to do with how much. You can make $50,000 trading 5 micro contracts. The moment you go to 1 mini contract, boom, it's gone. Why? Completely different psychological shift when that amount of P&L swings on the computer screen. It's a completely psychological thing. I've known great traders. I knew a trader back in 2021, around coming out of the pandemic. They took like a $5,000 options account to $40,000. Sized up way beyond their means, and lost $30,000 in 3 months. True story. Sizing up has nothing to do with how much money you're making. If what you are doing right now is making you consistent, I don't care if you make $500 a week. If you can do $500 a week for the rest of your life, and you knew how to do that with that position size that you're on, wouldn't it be smart of you to just increase the amount of accounts that you're trading and do the same thing? Why does everyone have it in reverse? The more accounts I get, the more money I'm going to make. The more you start trying to make per trade, the more you start trying to make per account. Has nothing to do with. I will sit back for 3 months and make $500 a week on 10 accounts. What's the problem in that? $500 a week, $2,000 a month, $6,000 for 3 months. I'm $4,000 eligible for a payout. I have 10 accounts, $40,000. Does anyone think about that? Anyone think about that? Most of you guys are trying to have 10 accounts and take out $40,000 this month before you've taken out $5,000, before you've taken out $1,000. Going back a little bit, create the discipline outside of the charts. Each and every single one of you should pick something. I don't care if you're 20 years old or I don't care if you're 75 years old. Pick something that you don't like to do, that is a pain in the ass, that you know you need to do. Start doing it every single day. Whether that's exercising more, whether that's changing the diet, whether that's cutting out soda pop, whether that's, you know, fucking taking out the trash, you know, before the wife tells you to take out the fucking trash. Do something that you don't want to do before it needs to be done, before someone needs to remind you. Instill a little discipline outside the charts, and then bring that same level of discipline inside the charts. Respect your personal daily loss limit. Stop sizing up before you're ready to. Most of your guys' problems is you're trading too big a size and you're not accepting of the losses when they're on the screen because you're not immune to the size you're trading it. Many of you guys will sit here and tell me, oh yeah, I've got a $300, $400 max loss. But as soon as you're down $300, you're freaking out. What are you freaking out about? There should be no, if you were comfortable losing 300, you told me that. Why are you freaking out about it? We're getting another day tomorrow. You can lose 10 days of $300 and be in before you blow up your account. Now, I don't think any of you are over a 10 days a 0% winning trader. I think you're going to at least win 5 or 6 days out of 10. So what the hell are we concerned about losing 300 for? Because you were never accepting of the $300 loss that when the day before the day started. Yeah, I'm going to only stop and trade. I'm going to only lose $300. I'm only going to, it sounds right. Everyone says, you know, I should have a max stop loss. It sounds good, right? It sounds good. Yeah. A lot of us are doing stuff because it sounds good, not necessarily because what it is good, right? I'm just saying, guys, again, if I can figure this out, I'm going to be honest. If I can figure this out, I'm no smarter than a fucking, like I'm the dumbest fucking rock in the box. But if I can get tired of doing the same stupid shit years ago, right? And figure out what works, anyone can do it. I know that because if I can do it, anyone can do it. I didn't go to no fucking fancy school. I didn't read no fucking crazy books for years and years and years. No one, you know, like I like didn't work for a firm. I didn't, you know, major in finance. I didn't do none of that stuff. I learned the old school of hard knocks way. Put money in, lose a bunch of money, figure out what I did wrong. Make an adjustment, do it again, still lost money. Make another adjustment, still lost money. Make another adjustment, now I'm breaking even. Now that feels different. I'm breaking even. I'm not really losing no money. Do another adjustment, make a little bit of money. Adjust some more, back to break even. Okay, I need to go back to that. And it's a slow progression, but I'm here to cut all that shit out. Like, I'll cut it all out for you. I'll tell you what you need to do. Start at the bottom, trade small. Use the progression ladder in terms of sizing until you're immune to it. Walk away. Scale your prop firm, because everyone right now, look at it, prop firms is the new wave. I don't know how old you guys are. Prop firms is the new get rich online scheme, right? It's the new make money online, passive income type shit. Remember years and years ago, you used to see like those weird fucking pages, make money online, and it was just basically teaching you how to sell the same shit and do it to a bunch of other people, like all that fucking make money online era. Remember that way back in the day? The prop firms is the same thing right now, you know, in this industry. It's the same thing. It's a new wave. You know, I've seen the ladder change. When I got started in trading, you know what it was? Penny stocks, baby, bios, right? What's hot? What's the hot mover of the day? We're going through the option scanner. What's got the lowest float? What's ready to break out? What's going to go 100%? That was it. Penny stocks, biotechs. And then it was like crypto for a little bit. Back in 2017, we had that big rally, and then crypto took a shit. And then we got into COVID, and what was it? Options. Everyone wanted to trade options. Everyone wanted to trade the new tech stock. Everyone wanted to trade the new SPAC. Everyone wanted to trade the meme stock. Everyone was in options. You know what it's been the last 2 years? Prop firms, futures. Why? Low barrier to entry. Everyone's invited. It's super cheap to get started. Look at everyone else who's making $50,000 a month. That's what it is. That's where we've come. That's where we're at. A year, 2 years from now, it's going to be something completely different. Completely different. Right? What it's going to be, I don't know. I don't know. But for the time being, right now, while everyone is on this wave of prop firms, use it to your advantage. Scale up multiple accounts. Do the shit that needs to get done. Do the shit that needs to get done. Start doing it on a day in and day out basis. Again, Trading Buddy. It doesn't have to be online. It could be a personal. It could be a brother. It could be a wife. It could be a husband. When we report back, how many of you fellas out there report to your wives how much you've actually lost in the last month? Sure, she probably looks at the bank statement. Same thing for the ladies. How many of you are telling the old man how much you're investing into this crap, right? Start holding yourself accountable. Is it a little embarrassing to go out there and tell your buddy from work how much you lost this month? Sure, tell him. It's going to make you better. It's going to make you better. You know, don't be embarrassed. Don't want to do that? Get with the trading community. Hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself accountable. Report. That's why we have the community report. Again, use it as a community that can help you. Use it as something that can help you guys, right? Because when you have that support system, you start holding yourself accountable, because you know why? Someone's overlooking you. Back when I started, I didn't really have a support system. I didn't have a trading buddy. I didn't have none of that. You know what I used to do? I used to play games with myself. I would tell myself stupid things like, if I worked for a firm and I'm some trader trading on the 25th story, and they said I couldn't lose no more than $500 today, and I did, and I still traded, they would fire me. How would I trade? Right? I would play games. I would play games with myself like that. I'd give myself a profit target. I'd play stupid games with inside this bigger game. If I can make $100 in the first hour, I'm going to stop trading. Why? I just want to see if I can do it. If I lose 2 trades today, what game am I playing today? If I take 2 trades and I lose them back to back, I'm going to stop trading. Can I do it? Can I do it? Or do I lose 2 trades and double my size? Did I win or lose that day? I started playing games with myself on a day in and day out basis. Right? So if you don't have a trading community, you don't have a trading buddy, you don't have no one to report to and this, that, and the other, start putting yourself in those mental games. What about this? What about if you put yourself in this game, put yourself in this mental game. If I gave you all $50,000 to trade, if I gave you all $50,000 to trade and I said you couldn't lose no more than $200 and you had to stop if you made $100 in a day, how well would you respect that? If you had no job and that was your only source of income, how well could you respect that? If you lost $200 today, you're done. If you make $100 today, you're also done. How well would you respect that for 30 days? Do you think you guys can all do that for 30 days? Or would you get fired? Start there. That's where I would start. I wouldn't start with how much am I making today? 500. Where's the best setup? What's the best inversion? What's the best this? What's the best strategy? What is this guy making today? Let me go check this fucking, live streamer today. How did he do today? Who the hell cares how they did today? Because let me ask you something. Craig, let me ask you something. Uno, let me ask you something. Brian, let me ask you something. George, Jorge, let me ask you something. Hurst, Calvin, Lux. Anyone ask you guys how you're doing today? Miss Means, did anyone ask you how you did today? Did anyone care if you made or lost money today? So why do some people online care what the hell everyone else is doing? No one cares what you guys are doing. So why are we so concerned? Well, we want motivation. If they can do it, I can do it. if this person can do it, I can do it. Guys, you don't need that. You don't need that. Good. Yeah, good. Solo trader. Good. But also when you do bad, make sure you're reporting back to her how bad you're doing though. Okay. Don't just tell her about the good days. That's what traders tend to do. Again, social media is social media, guys. We all lose. Even your best trader out there, wherever you guys have watched videos from, they all lose too. But guess what gets highlighted? Only the winning days. Of course, the winning days. Guys, majority of my videos where I'm going over strategy where I'm going over strategy, I'm showing you guys the best potential trades. I'm showing you guys the best ones. Why? Because I want you to see what it looks like when it works. So you can start focusing on the simplicity of when it works. I'm not going to go show you 10 losing trades over the last week when the setup failed. For what? So you can be more hesitant when you see the trade setup happen? No, you're going to lose the trades. The back end work is, yes, I am going to lose trades. How do I manage that? It's social media. Like, again, guys, even your book, you can go out and buy a book. It's going to say, do this and do that and journal and do. Oh, it's always what sounds great. It's always a little different once we're in the pit of the fire. Once we're in the middle of the fire, shit never seems to go as planned. I'll just say that. Once we fire up the charts, baby, and the New York session is open, shit never goes as planned. Great idea for going long today. Fucking market dumps 300, right? Oh, I'm going to go short today because, hey, we're on a free fall. Market's going to rise up 500 points tomorrow, right? Again, the market's never going to do what you wanted to do. All a small game of adjustments. Going back to that question, how many of you guys can lose 200, make 100 and stop? Can you do that for 30 days, right? If not, you're fired. Get out of here. Go do something else. I'm sure the local Walmart is hiring. The local gas station is hiring. The local Amazon is hiring. Go do something where you can just show up and report to work every day. Many of you guys, I hope, right? I never recommend anyone, unless you're retired or unless, you know, whatever. I hope you guys all have some other income coming in. Okay. I would never recommend to quit their whatever to trade, because it's never the best thing to do when you have that emotional stress on you. But I use it in conjunction, right? Use it in conjunction with whatever else other income you have. But the thing is you got to prove to yourself that you can do it on a very, very small scale. And once you do it on a very small scale with a very small dollar amount, you need to continue to do nothing more than that. Here's the big secret, and I'm going to stop this video because it's already long-winded. Here's the secret, guys. Even when you learn something that works, even when you have some success, even when you've been doing this for a couple of years, you're still going to lose. You're still never going to figure this shit out. You will never figure out the industry. Everyone always thinks that they're going to figure it out, like it's some cookie cutter mold. Like there's some looming secret out there. There's some looming, secret strategy that only certain people know about. Some fucking algorithm, right? Some man in the box or whatever. All these different variations. Now you have all these kids who are all between the ages of 15 and 17 years old that all somehow know the secret strategy from some fucking man in the box, right? Listen, guys. The people... And again, because Shift, I know you follow ICT concepts. The thing is, it works. So does the next guys. So does the way Hurst trades. So does the way George trade. Because there was a bunch, about 10, 15 minutes ago, I asked everyone's won some trades, right? So everyone can click the button and make money. But it has nothing to do with a strategy. It has to do with what you do when you do lose. Because even the greatest teacher, even the greatest strategy, even the best indicator, even whatever you're paying for to help you read the charts and read the markets, even that's going to fail sometimes, because you know what? The market doesn't give a shit about you. The market has no idea where your order is at. It has no idea where your stop loss is at. There's certain things that we can use to kind of be in the same ballpark, but it doesn't know where you're at. So you're always going to take those losses. So the key to being profitable and unprofitable, consistent and non-consistent, is by focusing on doing what works and doing it over and over and over, and realizing losses are going to happen. You have to get through them. Realize that over 100 trades, you're probably going to lose 20, 30, 40 trades. As long as the edge is slightly in your favor, you will be profitable. So what is the profitability factor after 100 trades? It's not after 3 trades. I can tell you that much right now. Same charts. We're all looking at the same ones. And every single day, I'm always asking guys in my room, hey, what's your fib level at? Hey, where's the VWAP at? Okay, cool. Guess what? I got there too. I've got this fucking level from a 4-hour chart that I drew days ago. I've got this 20 SMA. I've got this 50 SMA that's matching up with your VWAP. Great. Good. As long as we can all see the same charts, because again, no one's hiding anything from us. You might paint your charts a little bit prettier than mine, right? But at the end of the day, it's all the same shit. So if there's a true area there of supply or demand, no matter what you're calling it, or no matter what indicator is showing it to you, it's all the same stuff. It's not about that. It's about preventing max loss and tilt days. And what are we doing to prevent them? We need to size down. We need to work the progression ladder on immunity. We need to understand that the losses can't be prevented. I don't care how competitive you are, you're still going to lose. Guess what? Just become a competitive loser. How about that? Become the most competitive loser that you can be. You need to figure out, based on 100 trades, how much are you actually netting? What is your edge actually netting, right? After 100 trades. You know, how long does it take you to get to 100 trades? How long does it take you to get to in a month? And what is that little small margin? What is that little small margin? Because that little small margin is what we're going to use to scale. So if after 100 trades, we're profitable only $900, great. I know that if I get 100 setups using these parameters in this stop loss, and I execute right, and I accept my losing days, and I walk away when I'm red, and I don't change my position sizing, and I follow the progression scale ladder on terms of size, I'm going to make $900. I'm using an example. I'm going to make $900. Great. So for every 100 trades I take, I'm going to make 900. Have you guys done that before? Have you like reverse engineered the math and then worked forward? You know, like do all the data, put in 100 trades. How much were you actually profitable? Net profit. And then from there, tell yourself, okay, so at 200 trades, I'm going to make $1,800. At 300 trades, I'm going to make $2,700. Okay, cool. So now I know that I'm on a time schedule now. It's going to take me whatever, right? Your numbers will be different. You've got to take the numbers, the math has to math. It has to make sense. You've got to know what, like you can do it small on a week basis. At the end of the week, how many trades did you take? 55. Okay. Were you profitable or negative? I was profitable. How much did you make? $435. Okay, great. So you're pacing $400 average a month as long as you follow your system and take the losses and close out the red days. How many red days did you have? I had 2 red days. Okay. So you won 3 days, you had 2 red days. One day you had a $150 red day. The other day you had a $200 red day, but you had a $500 winning day, a $500 winning day, and a $300 winning day. You were profitable. What's the problem with coming back in and doing that over and over and over? Is it's not accepting and wanting to control that red day. Like you want to control that red day. You're not going to control the outcome. Start small, guys. Start small. Again, I'll leave you guys with this. Start practicing and focusing discipline outside the charts. Pick something tonight that you're going to do outside the charts that's going to instill discipline in you. It could be something as stupid as getting down and doing 50 push-ups every day. It can be something as, I'm going to walk 3 times around my block today. You know, I'm going to go wave to Carol twice when I cross the fucking, the street. The lady at the corner, I'm going to wave at her twice. And I'm going to do that every day. And I'm going to come around and like do something that you don't normally do to prove to yourself that you can stick to something. Okay. I don't care what it is. Pick something. I drink fucking, you could be a person, I drink, 9 bottles of pop, right? Well, drink 1 bottle of pop. How about that? Right. So pick something. If you have real bad problems handling the risk and the losses on the trades, do this. Work the progression ladder. Start all the way at the beginning, 1 or 2 micros for 50 trades or 2 weeks, analyze the numbers, were you profitable? And then you can size up to 4 to 5, and then you can size up to 7 to 8, and then you can size up into 10. That progression ladder should take at least 4 to 6 weeks, and you should be able to be profitable at the end of that. And if you're not, you got to go back. So if you're not profitable after 3 micros, you got to go down to 1. You got to go down to 2. Yeah, Brian, it's extremely hard to trade minis right now. So if someone like, I'll use Brian for example. Let's say Brian's trading 3 micros right now because of the volatility. Even for Brian, even though it's only 3 micros, if you get into a situation where some of the losses because of the volatility and the range right now are too much for you, just because we've been trading 3, there's no shame in going down to 1 right now, or there's no shame in going to 2. Because if the whole thing is preventing a max loss or a tilt day, again, max loss doesn't necessarily need to be you blew up your account, but it's over your daily loss limit, right? If you have a daily loss limit of 300 and you lost 600, that should never happen. It should never happen, right? But if the volatility is big, it can happen. So what do we need to do? We need to cut our size down. Well, we should never be adding, we should never dollar cost average down either. If you're a scalper or a short-term trader, or a short-term day trader, meaning you're in and out of trades in under an hour, you should never dollar cost average. Never, never. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone says. No one will ever sell me on DCAing into a scalp. That's bullshit. You know, so again, we should never even adjust our stop loss on a scalp or short-term trade. Like if you're sub 30 minutes in and out of a trade, you should moving your stop. I mean, you should only be in the trade a fucking couple minutes. Why the hell are we moving our stop? Right? It doesn't make any sense. So again, like if we're a trend trader, maybe we're, you know, we're gonna ride, we've got a big breakout trend on a day and we're gonna ride this trade for 2, 3, 4 hours. Maybe we're buying back into that support, that rising support to add in. But again, if you're a trader, like a you're in and out, oh, you know, size down. So again, what's going to help with those tilt and loss days? Size down. Whatever you're playing right now, cut it in half. Well, I'm not going to make as much money. I don't give a shit. You want to continue to lose money or do you want to get on the right path? So cut your size down in half. Use that mental time clock stop. Go through your numbers. Average winning trade in 2 minutes, great. If it gets to 2 minutes, gets to 2.5 minutes, cut the trade. Get out. Take your data at the end of 100 trades. If you're on a platform that allows a daily lockout, make sure you use it. Top Step X has one. TraderVate has one. Again, the rest of the guys, I don't think they do. But if you can, lock out. Use a trading buddy. If you don't have a trading buddy, go find a trading buddy. If you can't find a trading buddy, tell your wife, tell your coworker, tell your son, tell your daughter, tell somebody. You need to tell somebody. You need to stop trading in the dark, right? This is the problem. You need to stop trading in the dark and thinking that one day that someone's going to turn the light on you, meaning that someday this is just going to click. Start voicing it. You need to start voicing it. We need to start talking good things into existence rather than just in our fucking heads, right? Because this is a very lonely business. This is a very secluded business. It's a very mentally draining business. Okay. So, again, and put some hard goals on it, right? If you're already in funded accounts right now, I mean, aim for like one payout every 30 to 45 days. If you can do that, that's great, right? That's great. All you got to do is size up accounts from there, right? But find that one thing, and I'll leave with this. Find that one thing that you are doing wrong and work on that one thing. If you have to write it on a fucking post-it note and put it on your forehead, do it. But that one mistake, I'm not respecting my personal daily loss limit. That's the only thing that you should be focusing on. Not the dollar amount, not how many trades you're taking, nothing. It's just, I'm not going over my personal daily loss limit of 300. If I'm at 290, I'm telling my trading buddy. I'm telling my trading community. I'm telling Linda down the street at the corner, hey, I just hit my fucking max loss of 300. She's like, what the hell is that? And you just say, I had to tell somebody, right? That's all we're focusing on. You know, if it's oversizing, cut your position size in half. That's all you're focusing on. If you're losing on one mini contracts and you're getting smashed, you do really great 2 days in a row and then you get destroyed. You're going to 5 micro contracts. That's all you're focusing on for the next 50 trades. For the next 2 weeks, that's all you're focused on. That one little problem. If it's moving your stop loss, guess what? The next 50 trades, post-it note goes on your fucking forehead. I am not moving my stop loss down. I am not moving my stop loss down. Tell your trading buddy, I didn't move my stop loss today. Great. Get a pat on the back. Tell your trading community. Great. Get a pat on the back. Tell Linda from around the corner, hey, I didn't move my stop loss today. And then soon enough, Linda's going to get fucking tired of seeing you every day telling her that you're following your rules. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Right? Brian, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. And say, you don't need to. You don't need to, Linda. I'm doing what I need to do. Right? So with that being said, guys, hope you guys kind of enjoyed this little workshop, a little bit of a rant, a little bit of, things to kind of, make you think in a little bit of different perspective. It's kind of good to do this outside of market hours because again, during the live during the live markets, it's live markets, right? We're trading, we're making money. We're focused on that. We're not sitting here gonna, do this roundtable stuff throughout the markets. Again, this is kind of stuff that I focus on. This is what I know helps me. Again, I'm only saying this, guys, all of this stuff, because I've been there. I've been there. I had the problem with trading too big a size. I had the problem with dollar cost averaging, right? Like I've had all these problems, all these things I'm saying, because I've had them all. And I just know, like, if a freaking moron like me can figure it out, then anyone can figure it out. With that being said, guys, before you get out of here, hit the like button. That way YouTube at least acknowledges that someone out there enjoys the video. Maybe they'll push my next live stream to other people. Again, if you guys want to join the room, you can join in on the free section, whatever, and kind of hang out. If you need that trading buddy, you can just start shouting it out. Hey guys, I followed my stop loss today, right? I'm sure someone will kick you around in the head a little bit. With that being said, I'll see all of you guys on the next live stream. To those of you guys who showed up from my room at Evolution Traders, I thank you. I will see you guys back in the room. To everyone else on YouTube, I'll catch you guys all on the next YouTube video.